What's going on, everyone? It's APOC, your favorite host and so-called jealous hater, and welcome back to the channel. Well, guys, it has been a while. I think like roughly 6 months or so since my last post. And I know back in 2024, I've stated in other videos that I was ready to come back to content creation, but obviously with the inconsistency and absence, that was the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, ever since my sickness, things just didn't really seem to work out or go my way. There was a lot of aftermath and things that happened behind the scenes, so I decided to actually put YouTube on the back burner. And honestly, I didn't even really know if I was going to come back anyways, but things have changed now, and after 3 years, I'm finally ready to come back and get back on that YouTube grind and finally start posting again and exposing all these grifters. And you know what? I've missed it, man. I missed my channel, my community, and everything we build over here. It has been quite the journey and way too long. And you know what? What better way to come back in 2025 with my comeback to YouTube than to talk about Karen and Kwa, otherwise known as KKandbabyJ. And you know, even though I've been gone from YouTube, I kept tabs on them here and there, and you know what, man? They still piss me off to this day. I can go on and on and on, but let's just get to the video. Anyways, guys, like I said in my intro, Karen and Kwa seem to get a lot of grace for what others get crucified for. One of the main factors is child exploitation, where apparently Karen and Kwa don't exploit their kids, even though they're like Ace family level.
Yeah, not like follower count, but just in general, they're like the Ace family.
Yeah, definitely not follower count.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about, I'm gonna exploit my kids to the fullest degree, absolutely. They 1000% exploit their kids. And it's weird to me that there are people out there who either just like flat out ignore it. And I understand there's some people that might be naive to it and still learning. That's okay. But there are people out there who just flat out ignore it and say they don't exploit their kids. Even though if you go to their channel, you look at their titles and thumbnails, the kids are not in the background or whatever rhetoric people like to spew. They are the face. Yeah. They're in the forefront of the KKandbabyJ brand. I mean, literally, they have t-shirts with their kids' faces on them.
That they still sell, by the way.
Yeah, that's weird. But they most definitely exploit their kids.
They're not really ignoring. They'll literally say, I know that they exploit their kids, but they haven't really done anything else wrong, so they're okay.
Even though, like, exploiting your kids is one of the worst things you can do.
I also didn't know you had to have drama surrounding your name to think that you're doing anything wrong for you to be known as doing anything wrong. So you have to have drama connected to or on top of the exploiting your kids to make it matter. There was like a comment somewhere and they were implying that as long as there wasn't any drama or controversies around them,
the child exploitation is whatever.
Child exploitation is all they have, so why talk about them? The child exploitation itself is enough to talk about,
right?
But there is controversy and there is drama surrounding them, so you can't really say that that's the case, because there's not. There's a lot of drama surrounding them.
Which goes into the other thing that people say is that KKandbabyJ are not the problem, that they don't have any controversy surrounding them or any drama, which is just complete hogwash, because they absolutely do. They scam their community out of the money. They lie, manipulate, and gaslight their community. And the lying is like one of the biggest things about them, is that they are like compulsive, pathological liars.
Another thing they get a pass with everything for is, or they have a lot of friends or are good friends, so that gives them a pass for just anything. So as long as they're good friends and they still have friends, that they're okay.
Which is just weird. Just because you don't have a lot of friends, it's not a red flag. Like, you know what I mean? That's just life.
Context
I mean, come on.
matters,
if you're an adult out there with a family, can you say that you really have many friends? Probably not. And not to mention, how much do you hang out with those friends? You don't really have the time, because for one, you're surviving, you gotta go to work, and then also you're taking care of your family. Like, you don't have time to do all those things.
But they have lost friends. It's been quite obvious that there's people who they used to show on their vlog that they don't show anymore, and they were kind of in very, very background of their vlog. Like every now and then you would see them, so I think that's why they got kind of got forgotten about those people because you barely saw them in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there is multiple different people that they were friends with, particularly Kwa was friends with, that he's not friends with anymore.
And, it's not like Kira where, she's talked about, like, friendships and relationships and stuff online, and there's, like, a lot of digital footprints when it comes to her and her friendships, That's a little bit different. You can say that Kira's a bad friend based upon the things that have come out of her mouth.
I was just
Karen and Kwa seem to, like, hide things a lot more, so if they did have a friendship fallout, they definitely wouldn't be, like, saying anything. They definitely wouldn't be putting that out online.
Well, they hide who they are as people. Like, we're not going to see as much of how they are with their friends because their content is surrounded by them and their family. That proves in itself that the family, the kids, aren't just in the background. They are the forefront because you don't really know how Karen and Kwa are with their friends. We're not talking about Oscar and Addie. That's definitely a public relationship. We're talking about all the other people. They don't like to show their parties very often. They definitely don't like to show their parties.
They only show, like, Friendsgiving, bro. That's
it. And if they do show their parties, it's very small glimpses of it, but you'll see more of their children's parties than their adult parties.
A kid birthday party, there's 5 vlogs to one birthday.
You're not going to see them hanging out with their friends that often doing tennis or whatever else they do outside of it, like hanging out and doing board games. Rarely ever will you see those clips of them with their friends. Like, a full clip of it, you're never really going to see those. Like, rarely ever are you going to see those. You're going to see their children and their home life and that, but they don't like to show who they are. And don't give me that whole, well, maybe they don't want to shove the camera in their friends' faces. If it's really just them and their kids are in the background, then we would see more of that. But we don't see that. The other thing is, too, their friends know that they vlog. Their friends know that that's their job. They rarely ever want to do that. Show them with their friends. Because you would see a whole different view of who they are. They don't want you to see who they really are with their friends. We've seen little clips of them partying, and especially Karen, when she's hammered, you definitely don't want to see that.
She doesn't want you to see that side of her. Even though we've seen glimpses on their vlog channel of who Karen and Kwa are as people, I definitely think that Kwa tries to hide it the most, but Karen still tries to hide who she is online. If Karen and Kwa showed who they really are, it would completely destroy that, like, oh, we're this, like, cute little humble perfect family.
Genuine.
Online. It would completely eradicate that because Karen and Kwa hide themselves in, like, plain sight, bro. You know what I mean?
And that's, like, a known thing, especially right now. She's liking comments where people are saying, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys are finally able to show who you really are. I'm like, but wait, they've done that this whole time though, right?
Yeah.
And Karen has liked those comments. So I'm like, so you haven't shown who you really are this whole time. And that video that person commented that on was a video where you saw a little bit of a different glimpse of who they are outside of their vlogs. So that is proof in itself that they have never really showed who they really, really are.
No.
We see their children. That's what we see. We see that. And they surround everything around their children. Their kids aren't just in the background. Their kids are the forefront, the main focus.
If the kids were just in the background and was mainly about Karen and Kwa, they would be posting more on their personal channels rather than the family channel.
Yeah, and if they wanted to pull away from that, the family vlogging, which they've said that they don't want to make their family the product anymore. If they really wanted to pull away from that, they would pull away from it.
Right, and focus on different types of content and stop exploiting the kids. And also stop making ads and sponsorships with the kids. But they're going to keep raking in that money as much as they possibly can. And that's just the truth. And a lot of people can't handle the truth. There's a lot of KKandbabyJ stands out there who, again, like I said, will either ignore what we're saying or they might be naive and just not believe it. But there's going to be a lot more pieces of content coming out about KKandbabyJ. Like, a lot. I know we've talked about them plenty in the past, but no one else talks about them. Everybody's afraid, apparently, to speak about them, which makes no sense. It's nothing about a legal team. Karen and Kwa don't have shit. They can't sue you if you speak the truth.
That's a pathetic little rumor made up by people who love them, is that they have a really good legal team.
Or love other creators who don't speak out there and question why they don't talk about them. It's still be like, well, they have a really good legal team. Okay, but not all these other people who are way bigger than, they don't have better legal teams? Like, come on.
Come on.
And, Karen and Kwa would be trigger happy for suing people. So if they could sue anybody, right? They're there's been plenty of times where I've seen Karen be like, I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah.
Well, I think on the Kick-Ass website, she literally had like a thread on there that she'll sue your ass. You know what I mean?
Think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, it's
that.
gone now, so it, there's not a screenshot or anything. But she had something. It was like a statement or whatever, like I'll sue your ass or this, that, and the third. You know, I don't know what it was surrounding. It was just probably just based around the image of Kick-Ass or whatever, which is actually really ironic because she's like, I'll sue you if you use my image of Kick-Ass, and yet somebody else owned the name, the brand Kick-Ass before Karen did, and she took them to court and was burying that person in the ground financially, and so they had to give up their name because they couldn't afford it. It did allegedly happen, but nobody else talks about Karen and Qua, so we're going to be the ones to do it. They deserve to be exposed just like everybody else, and even more than some other people. You know, there's a lot of other people on our list that we're going to talk about. We have a lot of content coming. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all for sticking around. It's, you know, been a long journey or whatever you want to call it since I, you know, stopped posting around 3 years ago. I know I have a few videos in between, but very inconsistent, and I just wasn't there. A lot happened, but I'm all good now. We're all good. We have a lot more time on our hands than ever, and so we plan on being back tomorrow. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys on the next one.